What if your government stole the remains of your deceased child to fuel a nuclear nightmare? It sounds like a horror movie plot, but for thousands of families during the Cold War, it was a terrifying reality. This is Project Sunshine, one of the most chilling and ethically bankrupt secrets in American history. A world where the dead were no longer sacred, but merely raw material for the atomic age. In the 1950s, the world was obsessed with the power of the atom. As the US and the Soviet Union detonated massive nuclear bombs in the atmosphere, radioactive fallout began to rain down across the globe. Scientists feared a specific substance called strontium-90. It mimics calcium and settles deep inside human bones, causing cancer and mutations that could last for generations. To understand the danger, the Atomic Energy Commission needed human data. They needed to know how much radioactive poison was already inside us. But there was a problem. Living people couldn't provide the bone samples required for such precise measurements. They needed the deceased, and more specifically, they needed the bones of those who grow the fastest, infants and young children. The project was given a deceptively bright name, Project Sunshine. But behind the name lay a global network of body snatching. Under the direction of Dr. Willard Libby, the Commission began a clandestine operation to collect human ashes and bone samples from around the world. The goal was to build a radioactive map of the human race, but they chose to do it in total darkness. There was no public announcement. No consent forms were signed. Instead, the government utilized a network of doctors and hospitals, often in impoverished areas or foreign countries. They looked for specimens that wouldn't be missed. In the words of the researchers themselves, they were looking for cadavers with a good growth potential, treating human tragedy as a laboratory resource. The scale was massive. Samples were taken from Australia, Europe, and across North America. In many cases, parents who had just suffered the devastating loss of a child were never told that parts of their baby were being shipped to a secret lab in Chicago. The bodies were often returned for burial with missing limbs or vital bone structures, replaced by wooden sticks to hide the theft. One of the most famous cases involved a mother in Chicago who only discovered the truth years later. She had been told her stillborn daughter needed a special autopsy for medical research. In reality, her child's legs had been removed to be incinerated and analyzed for radioactive isotopes. The government viewed these children not as people, but as data points in a global experiment. Why the secrecy? The official excuse was national security. The government feared that if the public knew they were testing dead babies for radiation, the outcry would shut down the nuclear weapons program. They chose to sacrifice transparency and ethics to ensure they could keep detonating bigger and deadlier bombs in the Nevada desert and the Pacific Ocean. For over a decade, Project Sunshine continued its silent harvest. Thousands of samples were processed. The results were grim. Strontium-90 was everywhere. It was in the milk children drank, the grass the cows ate, and ultimately, it was being woven into the very skeletons of a new generation. The Sunshine data proved that nuclear testing was poisoning the entire planet. When the project was finally declassified and investigated in the late 90s, the details sent shockwaves through the public. Dr. Libby, the mastermind, had once famously said at a secret meeting, "If anybody knows how to do a good job of body snatching, they will really be serving their country." This quote remains a haunting testament to the mindset of the era. The families affected by Project Sunshine were left with a hollow sense of betrayal. Their private grief had been exploited by a state that viewed its citizens as property. While the project provided critical data that eventually led to the banning of atmospheric nuclear tests, the cost was the total destruction of medical ethics and the desecration of the innocent. Project Sunshine serves as a grim reminder of what happens when science operates without a moral compass. In the name of progress and security, the most vulnerable were targeted in secret. As we look back at these classified files, we must ask, what else is being hidden today in the name of the greater good? The shadows of the past are never as bright as they seem.